In his new book, The War Came to Us: Life and Death Ukraine, American journalist Christopher Miller describes life in Ukraine the lead-up to and after the Russian invasion. Miller first came to Ukraine in 2010 as a Peace Corps volunteer in the city of Bakhmut, which turned into a wasteland after the Russian occupation. He later became a journalist and covered many vital stories covering 2014 Euromaidan Revolution, the annexation of Crimea and war in eastern Ukraine. In this excerpt, Miller writes about how Ukraine's top officials interpreted warning signs just ahead of Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022. Kyiv. Early 2022, Volodymyr Zelensky walked along ornate parquet floors his office as he examined the contents of a red folder. The click-black, size 8.5 Oxfords echoed through massive building. Now the stamp on the top said Top Secret. Inside was an intelligence briefing compiled by the National Security and Defense Council. The information it contained was so urgent and alarming that NSDC Secretary Oleksiy Danilov raced across town in his battered Audi to deliver it himself. Sir, information from our Western partners indicates that your life is in great danger, Danilov told Zelensky. The document outlined a capture or killing operation targeting Russia's president. Zelensky frowned and grimaced. He grumbled. He left the file on his desk, dismissed Danilov, and headed down the corridor to another meeting. This wasn't the first time Zelensky had been warned about this. And even though he eventually came to believe it, he was frankly tired of hearing about it. The United States and other Western countries had been warning him for weeks about the threat of a Russian invasion whose aim was to capture Kiev and install a pro-Russian puppet government. During a secret visit to the Ukrainian capital mid-January, CIA Director Bill Burns also told Zelensky that his life was in danger. My sources, the president's office, would later tell me. Burns warned that the Kremlin was preparing a kill list of Ukrainians who would be assassinated or sent to prison camps. The list included government officials, journalists, activists, ethnic and religious minorities, and LGBTQ Ukrainians. But Zelensky himself was on top. Shortly before the intelligence report fell into Zelensky's hands, Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba received a briefing in Washington. Then we had a meeting with Minister Blinken. We forwarded our comment the press and then I was asked to go a separate room, he said. And in that room I got an update. A very detailed update on Russia's preparations. And the guys who talked to me said the invasion would probably start within 48 hours. The Biden administration has been particularly and unusually vocal about the looming Russian threat. The first alarm was sounded in March-April 2021, when Russia began massing thousands of personnel and military equipment near the Ukrainian border. In occupied Crimea, Russia withdrew some of its